Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight? I know you all haven't heard from me in a few days at least, but I'm here once again. If you don't mind, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. And as always, I won't be before you long. There was a couple of things that crossed my mind tonight. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate your one. Welcome to the Chapmans. I'm so glad that you all decided to pull up. Dr. Ninja Turtle, I caught you hustling at midnight. I most certainly see you, and I definitely understand. JD, greetings and salutations. So glad that you were able to make it tonight. Most certainly appreciate you. It's definitely amazing to hear or to see your faces. I know y'all probably wondering what's taking her so long. I'm trying to get myself together. I guess I could say I'm a little rusty from going solo. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Somebody said, hey, Tiff. I don't know why I only see. Well, I don't know who you talking to. Crystal, talking about some hey, Tiff. Unless she's in my other chat, and I don't know. But that's okay. We're going to figure this thing out. And even if we got to build a plane while flying, we can still do just that. Oh, I see you. Tiff, appreciate you. Welcome to the Chapmans. I was like, I'm going to find you. If you in here, you most certainly will be found. But thank you for you guys for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate your presence. And I thank you. Welcome to Late Night Discussions with Tina Moe from the Tina Moe for Show YouTube page. This is the space where we take things hidden behind darkness and begin to shed some light onto the black spaces of silence, shame, ruminating thoughts of self-worth, and all of the things unspoken that need a voice. What I do when broken is not a space for singing sad songs and rehearsing old hurts, but it's about what authentic resilience looks like in the face of everyday challenges. No need for tissues. We all have issues. But now it's time to face the music and speak to the elephant in the room. Today is a day that the getting and understanding is priority. So if you're willing to hear some truth and don't mind saying ouch, then let's take this journey together. Get your flashlights out, because it's about to get dark. Hello, 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 hello. So glad that you all decided to be a part of this late night uh broadcast, whatever this is. This says it's a podcast, so I guess I got to go along with the script. But I'm so grateful to you all. Those of you all have shown up tonight. I, as always, didn't plan on a whole lot of people to. Why can't you see the other people? The only people that are able to see who all is in the chat is me. Crystal is in the other chat, and Tiff is in the other chat. But that is one reason why. And you all are here. Um, JD and you, Dr. Ninja Turtle, is are the two that's in this chat. So, but I can see everyone from where I'm sitting. I don't know why it didn't pop up in my feed, but it's supposed to. Both of them are supposed to be live, and they are both live. Um, but I've come to understand that when it comes to YouTube, you never know what's going on. You just kind of roll with the punches and keep it moving. And tonight, I just wanted to do just that. Um, yeah, she was here first. She's probably over there at Stashes. They having a good old time over there. I was there myself tonight, but I'm glad that I'm able to hang out with you guys. Again, I will not be before you long because I do. Um, Sorry about that, y'all. Once again, it's one of those times where, boy, when you hit the ground running, you just gotta go on and take a leap. Um, but I'm still here. I'm here, and as always, there are so many things that I have to um, get off my mind and want to touch on some things that have been on my heart. And sometimes you just don't know what all you're gonna encounter when you're taking the time to do some mirror work, to sit and take a moment to think about the things that that's going on in your mind, going on in your heart, going on in your spirit. And sometimes you just gotta take a moment to look at the woman or the man in the mirror. I see Nisha. I see you. I appreciate you being here tonight. As always, I appreciate your presence. I thank you for showing up tonight. This is a late night one, as usual. I like it late night because it gives me the opportunity to kind of hide in darkness. I don't have to. Not saying that I don't want anybody to show up, but it's one of those things. I get the opportunity to kind of stay focused and get the opportunity to take a moment and just um, talk a little bit about the things that I'm going through and discuss the topic at hand. Those of you all who see the topic, or those who can see the topic, it says, "What I do while broken: procrastination versus mirrors." Why did I say that? It is because I've come to some spaces in life where I've been doing um, taking some introspective looks. And while normally I would write down some notes and write down my thoughts, this is one of those nights where I didn't really have to write down a whole lot. Matter of fact, I didn't write anything down, mainly because I've taken so much time to think about this topic until I'm like, you know what? I don't think that I'm going to have a hard time discussing these things. I don't know how many of you all have been in a space in life where you found yourself angry. You hear a name, you hear, um, you see a person go past you, you're hanging around, you hear this person's voice, and immediately you cringe. Immediately, when you hear their name, something on the inside of you moves, and not necessarily in a good way either. We're not talking about butterflies, most certainly. Um, but if you've ever been into a space where you consider, why is it that when I hear this person's name, I cringe? Or why is it every time someone makes mention of this individual, whether they're around or not, my face is all scrunched up, I'm angry, or I just, feel a tinge or singe of anger just wash over me? Well, I've had some of that recently, and I had it for a while. The reason why I named this particular what I do while broken, still talking about procrastination, is when you begin to take a moment to investigate why you feel a way about an individual. Um, I'm gonna get as personal as I can without being too personal. Um, in that I do understand that the nature of the conversation that I'm a conversation, the nature of the subject of which I'm going to speak upon, is near and dear to my heart. Number one, number two, the people I'm gonna talk about still walking around, living, breathing, and should they ever hear this, they would know exactly who I'm talking about. Um, Not to mention, I got family members that watch this anyway, so some of them may very well know who I'm talking about. Hello, T Brown. So glad that you were able to make it in tonight. I appreciate your presence. Greetings and salutations. I'm just talking like I'm talking and walking this thing out. It's been a minute since I've been live, at least solo. You all saw me Saturday, but today, of course, I'm solo tonight, as I do this particular stanza of the Tina Mo for show YouTube channel. And you all know I have different shows, different spaces, and have different conversations as they come. But tonight it's about me, what I do while broken, not about anybody else. And you probably wonder, what you mean by what do you do while broken? I'm talking about the exercises that I um, stumble upon. And when I say exercise, I mean the things that I do as it pertains to um, how I consider things that's going on the inside of me, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, physically. Um, I always try my best to have an open mind about the things going on with me, not pointing the finger at anyone else, not blaming anyone else for where I've come to in life, but more so taking ownership and being accountable for the places that I land. And even further, being accountable to seek out the healing that I need, to seek out the kind of things that will help me along in life and will give me the type of bounce that I need to bounce back if I'm under a heavy load, to bounce back if I feel emotionally drained or physically drained, And so while I'm talking, I'm going to touch on just a couple of things in just a second. Uh, Captain B3, I see you. Appreciate your presence here as always. Anytime there are men in the space, as usual, I'm always grateful when you all share the space with me. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Chapmans. Um, and so diving into, as I was saying just a moment ago, as it pertains to mirror work and how I discovered one day that I was angry. I have a particular family member whom I'm very close to, and close to in relation and just close to, period. um Not having necessarily the kind of relationship that I prefer, but we're most certainly close. um and with that being said, I can remember a time where recently where I was like, I heard this person's name and I frowned. I thought of them in I would be speaking to other family members, and the mention of this person would cause me to um, be engulfed in anger. And it was something that I began to take into consideration. Um, yeah, just hearing that person's name triggers me. Yes, yes, indeed, Nisha. We come across things like that all the time. Um, and so, if it's one thing that I can say is that when it comes down to um, taking accountability, I had to sit with a few things. I had to discover why was I angry. I had to discover where that anger was actually coming from. Why was it that every time this person's name is mentioned, um, I don't want to talk about them. I don't want them mentioned around me. I have to make it known that I don't deal with that person. That person does not deal with me. Um, and the thing about it was, regardless to how they were responding to me, the fact that I was taking upon myself to behave in that manner meant that I needed to deal with what was going on the inside. Ryan, appreciate you, Mr. Mulatto 365. Appreciate your presence as always. I salute you, brother. I appreciate you for coming in, hanging out with me, and welcome to the Chapmans. Um, when it comes to family members, one thing that I can say is sometimes we're facing a thing that goes beyond the initial um, action that may have caused some anger. It goes beyond um, what somebody said to you or what somebody did or did not do. And sometimes it gets deeper than that. Because of the family member that I have that I have I'm so close to in relation, it's one of those things where I had to do an introspective look um, and find out what is it that was really going on with me. And in all of the digging past the pride, the digging past the frustration, the digging past the anger, um, I landed at a space where I recognized that I was angry because I was disappointed. Not just disappointed with the individual, I was disappointed with myself. I was disappointed at how things went and how they went awry. And I began to sit with all of the things that I actually thought about the situation as it pertains to why I was so angry. I grew up with this individual, and growing up with them allowed me to be in a space where there was constant contention. There was always something that was wrong. Um, there were fights, there were arguments. Um, and then one day I got locked up. Not doing anything to them. Don't get me wrong. I ain't out here, slaughtering my own family members. I wasn't slaughtering nobody else either. I went to prison for robbery, carjacking. So before y'all think that I didn't did something to my folks, that's not what happened. Um, but the thing about it was, um, it was recently when I was able to come to myself and recognize that the thing that I was wrestling with was the fact that it wasn't about what they did to me. but it was more so about the fact that I felt like I failed. I felt like I failed in that, number one, I was the older relative between the two of us. Um, and because of that, I had a sense of responsibility. I had a sense of accountability. And in those moments of me stopping to blame the other individual, oh yes, one of them is vertical and the other one is horizontal. They're most certainly showing up two ways on on the screen. But I'm glad you were able to find it, Dr. Ninja Turtle. But I came to a place where I began to recognize how I was disappointed with myself because the things that I was seeing in that person, in the individual that I was having so much strife with, so much contention, so much division, so many fights, so many arguments. It all came down to the fact that I taught them how to be with others, but didn't take into consideration that one day they'd be the same with me. Um, a lot of times, um, I have been boastful in life. Um, I was in the streets at one point in time, of which you all, the majority of you all know. I was in the streets at one point in time, and I had this thing about me where I had this bravado, so to speak, about I was the coldest somebody walking because I knew the game, I knew the streets, I knew how to talk the talk. I tried my best to walk the walk. Um, I stayed in a space where I was always trying to um, be stronger, be more crafty, get away with more, out hustle um, anyone else. And because I had that mindset that I was willing to out hustle anyone else, it took me to a space where I didn't realize how much of an influence that I would be to the people that were younger than me, to the people that were watching me. And with my family dynamic, I'm the oldest grandchild on both sides of the family. So everyone under my mother's generation and above are all younger than me. Everyone, all my siblings, all my cousins, all of them are younger than me. With that being the case, I was the first one to get in trouble. I was the first, and when I say get in trouble, I mean serious trouble. Um, Going to jail, eventually going to prison, doing a number of years. Still with the hustling, was with the hustling at the time. And it was that hustle, that willingness to do whatever, to the point where it brought me to a place of robbery. Um, because I was just dead set on trying to get it how I live, attempting to do the most to survive, so to speak. Now, along with that, there was the thing, the arrogance that came with um, being able to have the prestige of people looking up to me like that's the coldest. I look to people to give me the affirmation, give me the respect. I even touched on in times podcasts before about how there were people that feared me, but I never took into consideration how much of that was influencing people around me, my own family members. And so, with this particular family member that I made mention of a few minutes ago, I recognized that the thing that was getting on my nerves, the thing that was kicking me off, the thing that grieved me and made me angry and not want to, brought me to a place where I didn't want to have anything to do with this individual. All it was the version that I was before I changed. It was the version that I was when I was sneaky and conniving and hustling and always had some kind of underhanded thing going on. And because I was like that, um, I mean, I've always believed in the scripture that said you reap what you sow. But my thing was I wasn't considering how um oh, that's okay, T Brown. That's quite all right. We have stuff to do, and like I said, I won't be before you long, and I'm about to wrap this up in a few minutes. But when I came to the place a few days ago in recognizing in my um family member that the thing that I was seeing in them that got on my nerves was no more than a reflection of who I had been, what I used to brag about, what I used to boast about, the thing that I felt like made my life made my life easier by taking advantage of others. For that very reason, I came to the space where I realized I wasn't disappointed with the individual. I wasn't angry with them at all. It was me that I was angry with, that I was frustrated with. It was me that I saw in the other individual. Though it may have been a different space and time, what I was looking at was a mirror of my past, still operating because I was still connected to someone that was still connected to my past. I ended up looking at myself at that moment, and I found myself coming to a place where I was like, I'm not angry. I'm not even upset. I'm disappointed. I was disappointed because I felt like I should have been there. I was disappointed because I felt like I should have been a better example. I was disappointed because I felt like of all of the individuals of whom I had taught how to this hustle, this way of life of taking advantage of so many people. The fact that I was angry because it was happening to me. They still have a hustle going on about themselves, and the only time they're willing to do something is if you're paying them or if they found something that's advantageous to them. And that's the only way we could make an exchange. There was no thing as doing a favor. There was no such of a thing as I got your back. But it was more so, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? Sometimes it would be blatant. Sometimes it would be subtle. Because when the call was, I ain't got you today, but maybe another time, I got no return phone calls. I got no return text text messages. And so I had to come to a place where I was willing to look at me. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't necessarily like the relationship that I currently have. But now I can say I've gained some perspective. I realize not just the error of my ways, but I also realize that I was still beating myself up, that I was still angry with myself for what I continue to allow. The same way I beat myself up when I kept doing the things that was hurting other people. Because I did come to a place of remorse, but I also came to a place of regret. I also came to a place of shame. I also came to a place of guilt. But now that my life is different, and I'm not in a space where I have to deal with someone necessarily pulling a pew pew to my head because of something I did to them. But now it's affecting me in a way that I would have never imagined. And so, what I'm saying today in close is sometimes you come to a space in your life where you're angry, you're upset, you're confused, you don't even understand why am I going through what I'm going through? And why do I continue to go through the same thing over and over and over again? The truth of the matter is, sometimes the thing that we see is actually the thing that is showing us a part of who we were, who we are, or who we don't need to be any longer. Sometimes it's about showing you where your heart is and how it still needs to change beyond the behavior modification. Sometimes you get the opportunity to afford somebody else the grace that you wanted so badly for someone to show with you or to give to you or afford you. So I don't know if this was heavy to you all, but it most certainly was a thing that I've been taking into consideration that I just wanted to talk about because one day we got to heal. One day we got to be able to let go of some things as it pertains to the people in our lives that we're still cringing about because we heard their name, because we haven't forgiven them, because we haven't come to a space where you're able to let it go. Could be the bitterness from a divorce, could be something that went on with your child, could have been a sibling rivalry, could be anything with anyone. But if it's bothering you to the point where if a person isn't in your space and you still feel something and nothing is even going on currently, it might be the tap on the shoulder that you need to find out, to discover, to investigate what's going on the inside of you. Lastly, I just want to encourage you all to take a moment to think, is it worth your blood pressure being high? Is it worth you ruining your day? Is it worth you wasting energy, wasting your thoughts on the negativity? Is it worth you staying in unforgiveness and not even getting your own prayers heard because you won't forgive somebody else, knowing that you want God to forgive you? So all I can tell you is take some time to look in the mirror when you get that tapping on the shoulder, when you think of that individual, that baby daddy, that failed relationship, that divorce, that father that wasn't there, um, that mother that said that thing to you, whatever it is, that friend that walked away. Don't let it stay there, but take the time to look in the mirror and see if it's something that can be fixed then go about your way and find out how to fix it. I've been asking God to help me. I've been praying for Him to help me with the things going on the inside of me. And though I might sound preachy, I don't care. Though I might seem like, I'm tossing the Bible as about it, I'm not. But if that's the way you take it, hey, it's on you. What I can tell you is if you want to live a life that's full of peace, at some point you got to find out how to let it go. Find out what you can do to get the help that you need so you can release the thing that you've been holding on to that's doing more harm to you than it is anyone else. Thank you all for coming out, hanging out with me, for your comments in the chat. I appreciate all of you all who took the time to listen to me these few minutes, and for all of you all that are going to listen to this later, thank you. I hope you got something out of it. Until next time, God bless you and good night.